Hello guys, Sparring Cat here, and in today's video, I'm going to show you how to beat Bun-Bun in the Chapter 3 Moon of Empire of Cats. So let's get into it, but before I do, I'll break down the units. So, the first thing I want to say is you don't need these level units, you don't need all of them. In fact, with the right technique, you could beat this stage with half these units at that. I mean, you just need the me shield, really. Me shielding is the biggest part. And I know you see all the true forms, but you don't need the true forms, you don't need all the units. But I will go over why I picked each of these units. And starting with the first two basic cats, they're your meat shields. You need meat shields. And one of the most common mistakes people make is that they don't use meat shields. And when you don't use meat shields, your expensive units aren't protected. They get killed. You don't have money. They're on recharge, and your base gets destroyed. So you need meat shields. I also have Jiangxi in there for that same reason. He's just a good meat shield. Even if you don't have his true form, he's still useful. Now, cameraman, huge area damage. You know what that means? He survives. More importantly, he's strong again, so that means he could take a hit or two, and he could deal damage. So you need him, especially at this point in the game. Then you have Macho Legs and Dragon. They do the same thing, just some long-range chip damage. They could outrange all of the units while providing damage and not getting hit. And if they do get hit, the chances are they could survive a hit. If not, you could buy a new one. They're not extremely expensive, and the stage throws a lot of money out. Jamericat, he's going to be good, especially for the beginning of the stage when the kangaroos spawn, because you don't want to get your base cleared before the boss comes out. It's a bad feeling, and this is the #1 most quit on stage, so by having units that can get you to the boss, you got your chances up a lot of winning. You could also use Can to kill the kangaroos. He's close range damage, but don't use him against Bun-Bun. He'll get hit. Maybe he'll sneak an attack or two, but you're probably just draining your money if you're trusting him to deal all the damage. But in the unit you could use instead for that kamikaze damage, you could use Fishman Cat, and if you don't know, it's Swimmer Cat. But times 3 damage to floating, runs in there, takes a shot or two, goes back there, keeps chipping the boss down, and Bun-Bun at this point has the most amount of health of any boss you'll fight, so chipping Bun-Bun down is essential to killing him. He has 10 knockbacks, so don't get your hopes up too early. And last but not least, Paris Cat. You do not need the true form of Cyborg Cat. The stage throws a lot of money out, and Cyborg Cat has range, so she's a good pick if you have her. It doesn't matter if you have true form or not, but she's one of the most common rare units, so use her if you have the chance. Now let's get into the stage. So right here, here's the enemy breakdown. You see a mix of red and traitless. You don't want to bring in the wrong types of units. You want to bring the specific units, but the reds aren't a problem. What you really want to do is anti-floating, because the units I have in this deck have good enough base stats that they can kill the units here anyways. So you'll do fine with these, and we'll go into the stage now and I'll break it down. Alright, so you can see off the bat they spawn a kangaroo, and don't pay attention to the stats of the units. I know it's really, I know they're just melting through it and everything right now, but don't let it deceive you. I will still walk through the strategy just to show you guys what you can do. So right now, you would just send your Jamera out and you would get your rich cat up as much as possible, because these enemies are going to drop a lot of money. And then once that happens, you could start spawning enemies, but you don't want to have the unit cap maxed out, or else you're just going to get stuck at the base. All of your units are going to get killed and you're going to have to wait to replace them. So spawn a good amount of stuff, but not too much. And then once you get closer to the base, which you'll have to deal about 400,000 damage to, once you deal enough damage, the boss will come out. There he is. And now you can start spending away. Zooming in, you can see it's a lot of long range. You could use a cat cannon, which if you haven't used it yet, you will have it. And that's the stage. So what you want to make sure you do, the most common mistakes, there isn't enough long-range units, so they just send a bunch of close-range, high-damage units, and they don't get to land an attack, and your money sinks, and you don't land any damage. Another common mistake is lack of meat shields. If you don't have enough meat shields, you will lose. You need the meat shields, so your whole stacks of units, all of your stacks of units, and all of your expensive units, they'll all die. So you will instantly lose at that point. And you want to make sure, if you're struggling on this stage especially, if you do have an anti-floating Uber, bring it. Just make sure to meat shield it. There'll be plenty of cash. You'll be able to afford it. I hope I helped. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, please make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and turn on notifications. That helps the channel. I'll see you in the next one. Sparring Cat signing off.